Thank you, Nancy. And yes, her book is The Battle for Social Security. I recommend it to you, with some misgivings, I think. Simply, quite frankly, though, I've got to respond to the estate tax illusion. We call it the death tax, not the estate tax, because those that are extremely rich don't pay it anyway. They set up trusts and foundations. You can't really blame them for that. But the truth of the matter is, too, that study after study by the Philanthropic Roundtable shows that if you leave that money with its rightful heirs, it'll go a long way to producing more revenues for the government by expansion of existing businesses and startup of new ones. But that is one of our issues besides saving Social Security for future retirees. The other one is we say kill the death tax, kill it, don't wound it. Let's get rid of it because it serves no useful purpose in our estimation. Let me now call on Ryan Ellis. Ryan is the Executive Director of the American Shareholders Association. And I want to hear more about the Shareholders Association, since more and more, when I was a young man, only the very rich dealt with stocks and bonds. But as Nancy points out, we do need a mix of those bonds and stocks. I think we'll all agree on that. But Ryan is a graduate of Catholic University. He also serves as Director of the Tax Policy for Americans for Tax Reform. And before that, he was Executive Director of Social Security Choice, a pro-personal accounts advocacy organization. And for about 3 years, 2001 or so to about 2004, Ryan Ellis was Director of Government Affairs for Retire Safe, a free market seniors group that supports Social Security personal accounts for younger workers. And prior to that, Ellis was Manager of Tax and Social Security Policy for Jack Kemp's Empower America. Let's hear now from Ryan Ellis.
Thanks, Jim. My name is Ryan Ellis. I'm Executive Director of the American Shareholders Association. The handouts and remarks that I have from today are going to be on our website, which is www.americanshareholders.org. The American Shareholders Association is a political advocacy group that represents the 50% or so of households, and more importantly, the 70% or so of voters who own shares of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. Today, Social Security celebrates its 72nd birthday. I'm here to talk about where Social Security is going in the United States and what we can learn from the rest of the world. First of all, to clarify, I'm not here to talk about saving Social Security on a going forward basis. I could really care less about saving Social Security. What I care about is saving the retirement of younger workers. That's what we should really be concerned about here. Social Security can be a means toward that end, but let's keep our eye on the ball here. It's making sure that younger workers have a safe nest egg for retirement. As you can see in the handout, Social Security by the numbers, younger workers are getting a raw deal in today's Social Security system. They can expect an average annual rate of return on their Social Security taxes of 0% or even less. If the tax increases that Nancy just called for were to go through, they could expect most certainly a negative rate of return on their Social Security taxes. They're paying 1/8 of their income into this failing system, and many times have no extra money left over at the end of the month to actually save for the retirement Social Security promises but cannot afford to pay them. If we're not given another option, we younger workers will face a 50% Social Security tax increase or a benefit cut when we retire of 1/3 or some combination of the two. That's a crock. There is a better way. If younger workers could instead voluntarily opt to have their Social Security taxes, about 10% of their income, held in a personal account they own and control, they would be able to save at least as much as Social Security promises, but currently cannot afford to pay them. These accounts would be held in the Social Security Trust Fund and would work the same way as the federal employees' retirement plan. Workers could choose from a limited menu of diversified stock and bond index mutual funds, or they could simply be defaulted into a no-brainer life cycle fund that gradually moves from stocks to bonds as they age. Younger workers already know how to do this. There are 47 million IRA owners holding $4.2 trillion in savings. There are 55 million 401k style pension participants holding $4.1 trillion in their nest eggs. Younger workers are consistently more likely than their older counterparts to say that saving more for retirement is a priority for them. What's more, the rest of the world is figuring this out. Chile started the march towards Social Security personal accounts back in 1980. As you can see on the chart, the international tidal wave of Social Security personal accounts for younger workers, 31 countries now have a personal account system as part of their Social Security structure. Nations such as the United Kingdom, Australia, India, and even Russia have followed Chile's lead. There are, as I said, 31 countries, and the chart at the bottom shows that many parts, thanks to India, there are now slightly less than 2 billion people in the world who live in countries that are covered by a Social Security system that has a personal account structure. Ironically, in many cases, these personal accounts were put in place in these countries at the behest of Labour and other left-wing governments at the time. In Australia, for instance, it was the leftist government that put in place personal accounts in 1988. They viewed it as a way to distribute more wealth to the poor, and they're correct. It's the same as was mentioned with the Hyde Park Declaration. The goal here should be for the poor and the young to accumulate wealth that they can save for their own retirement and that they can build up a better life for themselves. Helping younger and poorer workers build a Social Security retirement nest egg does not require tax increases, nor does it require benefit cuts. What it does require is a willingness to do what the rest of the world has figured out. Personal accounts as a voluntary component of Social Security system is no more radical than the shift this country has seen from defined benefit pensions to 401k style defined contribution pensions, and it's no more radical than the shift that we've seen in this country from taxable brokerage accounts to